Spartans! What is your profession?
I try to live what they let go, away to dreams they'll never know. But a drowning soul can't save the tide, and now I see I must step aside.
I fought till my hands turned to stone, carrying battles that weren't my own. They swore they'd stand but turned away, left me to bleed in the fray.
I held the line as long as I could, fought for the spark they misunderstood. They whispered dreams they'd never choose, said they were in but lived to lose. I can't fight for you no more, knocking on a locked up door. You said you were in but faded out, your silence echoes a deafening shout.
I wanted to see your colors fly, but you clipped your wings and let them die. You crave the fall, not the fight to win, a war within that you let begin.
I can't fight for you no more, knocking on a locked up door. You said you were in but faded out, your silence echoes a deafening shout. I saw the fire dim in their eyes, promises buried under their lies. They wore the crown of fleeting belief, but ran from the throne when it brought grief. Oh,
I tried to carry your weight on my back, but your shadow was a heavy attack. You disappeared when the fire burned high, left me screaming at an empty sky.
I wanted the victory more than they, but you can't chase stars for those who stray. So I lay down the sword and walk away. The battle's lost, they chose decay. I can't fight for you no more, knocking on a locked up door. You said you were in but faded out, your silence echoes a deafening shout. Oh, they vanished like shadows in the light, fading away when it's time to fight. I reach my hand, they let it fall. I can't catch ghosts, I've given it all.
Oh, they vanish like shadows in the light, fading away when it's time to fight. I reached my hand, they let it fall. I can't catch ghosts, I've given it all.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. How is everyone doing tonight? What a beautiful, beautiful Thursday night. I am Tico Drauf. We are engineered to win. Or, as some people like to say, rightfully so, rightfully so. Some people like to say, I do my very, very best to annoy you to success, and that is my goal. If I can get you on a winning streak, on the winning track, then I have successfully done my job. All right. So my game plan for tonight is there are some topics that I want to touch on. AI in education. It's coming. Like, I know a lot of people, they're trying to resist AI as much as possible, but resistance is futile. It's coming. And my question to you is, what do you think about AI in education? What do you think about AI in education? So we're gonna be watching a video about that. We're gonna be discussing it. We're going to be talking about what is this topic about? It is about open AI. They're launching their own platform AI hiring platform to combat LinkedIn. That's another topic we're going to talk about. We're going to be talking about Mark Zuckerberg looking for training partners at work. Yes. What type of training partners are we talking about? MMA, mixed martial arts, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu training partners. Talking about that. And then I'm going to be working on the Indico event management application. So it's been going so good, that I got like what I did last week is going so well. People are excited to use it. So, but we also need to customize it. So I'm going to try to customize it with my logo and my colors and stuff like that to see to see what it takes to customize it. So now when I get back to work, I can just go, all right, drop in the work logo, drop in the work colors, whatever else needs to be done, drop that in. But what I want to do is I want to spend this time tonight to figure out how to customize it. We're going to run through the setup real quick with the Docker containers, and then we're going to do some research investigation on what do we need to do to try to get it customized. The issue is like when I try to do it at work, I'm like always working on something. So I'm like trying to bounce back in between. So I don't really have time to focus and dedicate to it. So I'm like, hey, why don't we figure it out here and we see how to do it? And then when I get back to work, I can just drop it right in there and we are good to go. All right. So that is the game plan for tonight. But first, before we jump into getting to work. Oh yeah, by the way, I also have to tell you about how I stopped Lovable today from destroying one of my applications. We'll get into that as we get to the show rolling. But first and foremost, I just have to say a big, big, big thank you to all of the subscribers to the channel, those who have been with me for a very, very long time, those who those who are brand new to the channel because we are growing quickly, and I want to say thank you. Those who are active in the comments and in the chats every single show, and those who watch from the clouds, who are lurking, every last one of you. If you just tune in for just 1 minute and allow me to add a little bit of value into your life, a little bit of inspiration, I just have to tell you that I truly, truly appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
There is a phone that's ringing right now that is annoying. It's really annoying me right now. Give me 1 second to go and throw that phone away. All right. Give me 1 second. All right. Let me do this real quick.
Hello, I'm Samantha from Resume.
All right, I'm back. Okay, that phone is driving me crazy, and it was not gonna stop ringing. It's gone now. I threw it out the house. I'm just kidding. I gave it to its rightful owner. Anyways, so just want to say a big, big thank you to all of the subscribers to the channel who I am able to, whatever value I'm able to add into your lives. People are reaching out to me in all sorts of places: Discord, Patreon, emails, YouTube chat, YouTube comments, X, all over the place. I just want to tell each and every one of you, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on X, whether it's on Twitch, wherever it is whether it's on Arena, wherever it is that you're able to connect with me, I truly, truly appreciate you for allowing me to add just a little bit of value into your lives.
I appreciate you.
And I got to give a big, big shout out to all of the Tech Coach Ralph Patreon members, my Tech Barbarians, my Tech Prodigy members, my Technical Explorers, all of you guys. Thank you guys so much for allowing me to add additional value, for you guys supporting me. We have a vibe code and chill session coming up this coming Saturday. I think I scheduled it for 2 p.m., I believe. But vibe code and chill this Saturday, it's already scheduled. It's gonna be awesome. The information to jump onto the Google Meet is in the Patreon post for free and paid members alike. Join me on Saturday. We're gonna have some great conversations. My guy Magnetar is going to give us give us a demo of Math GPT because he has access to it. I want to build a Scrum Master AI, and we're gonna just have great conversations. So I'm looking forward to seeing each and every one of you on Saturday in the Tech Coach Ralph Patreon, techcoachralph.dev. Join us for our next Vibe Code and Chill session. We're gonna have so much fun. All right. And last but certainly not least, a shout out to my tech mercenaries. Those are my YouTube channel members who support the channel day in and day out, allowing me to push this content all over the world. We are reaching people in Russia, in Tokyo, in India, all over the world, and they can even get it into their own language. So thank you so much for your support. We are the best.
We the best.
And let's go out there and get it.
Let's get it.
All right. So let me get and last announcement, tomorrow at noon Eastern time, we're going to be releasing our episode of the Bug Bite. Meta just updated their policies, their chatbot AI policies that for the interactions that that they can have with kids. We're going to be following up on that. We're going to be reviewing to see what are the changes to the policy, all of that good stuff. So tune in tomorrow. We're going to be, so remember, tomorrow we have the Bug Bite. We're going to be re-reviewing the updated Meta policies. Saturday we have Vibe Code and Chill, and Sunday we're going live with some DevOps work. So I'm looking forward to seeing you there. All right, so I'm going to check the chat real quick, and then we're going to get into a kind of an icebreaker on how I'm going to share with you how I prevented a catastrophe on one of my applications. Okay, we try that again. All right, so let me check the chat, and then we're going to get into this topic. All right, so the first message we got was from my guy Junior in the building. What's up? What's up? What's up, family? What's good with you, Junior? How are you? Hopefully everything is going absolutely spectacular for you this week, this fine Thursday night. And Junior says, change is good, coach. So if you decide to stop putting music at the end, then go for it. It's hard for me not to put it because I enjoy the music so much. So I don't know, Junior. I don't know. It was a test, and it was a test that I did not like whatsoever. I just enjoy the music so much. It just gets me like the real reason that I play the music when I start the show is because it gets me into the right mindset, into the right mood to go and get that work done. So music is great. Music is helpful. So you know what? It might be here to stay. It might be here to stay. All right. Why is it live on this channel? That's weird. It's not supposed to be live on that channel. Who did I not push it to? That is very interesting. I don't know why it's live on that channel. I'm live on one of the channels that I didn't intend to go live on. So whatever. It is all good. All good. Well, they'll get some additional content over there. So anyways, I want to jump into this topic real quick. Really quick. Don't destroy your apps. Learn tech. Right? I'm going to throw up 5 minutes on this topic really quick because it is super important. And where's my timer? Hold on 1 second. Where is? Oh, I know what happened. Okay, there we go. Let's try that again. Throw up 5 minutes on this. What in the world? Okay. Let's. There we go. All right, cool. So I'm gonna put 5 minutes up on this topic, right? Don't destroy your apps. Learn tech. So here's what happened, right? One of the apps that we have, and when I say we, I mean me personally and one of my tech barbarians, right? We were making some changes to make it a lot more user friendly. But we didn't want to break the production environment, so people could still be using the prod environment, and then we can update the test environment, the whole lovable. We investigated this the other day. The whole lovable and super base, and it's a hot mess, right? The way that you can't really differentiate your super base database, like what you do in the preview mode also affects like if there's any database changes also affects what happens in the public, published mode, whatever, right? Really annoying, something that really irks me and frustrates me. I have reached out to people on Lovable about it. Hopefully they have something in the works to try to fix that. But right now, that is the way that it is, right? So in the process of redoing the whole sign up flow so it can have a better user experience, testing out the Stripe integration, I came up with an idea. I said, well, what about, and I asked Lovable, I said, well, is it possible that when we are using the published, like the production site, we use the Stripe live mode, and take heed to this, all right?
Message.
Because I don't know. I really don't know if people, I haven't seen it, but I don't know if people actually prompt this type of stuff in their when they're in their applications and Lovable and Make and Replit, whatever it is that they're using, right? But what I said was when we're using the published URL, I want to use the Stripe production key for payments. But when we're using the what do you call it? The test environment, the preview URL, I want to use the Stripe test mode. Is that possible? So it did its thing, and I made sure I put it as a chat, not as to just go out there and do it, because then it's gonna do it, it's gonna cause havoc. I said, let's put it as a chat. And it did its research, checked everything. It says, oh yeah, we could do it. I'm like, all right, cool. Let's implement it. So it starts to do it, and then I noticed the database change that it's gonna make, right? It says, all right, we're going to rename some tables so that we can have we can have a column, or we're going to rename some columns so that we can have a column that says Stripe tests price ID, and then it's going to have another one. It's going to rename one that exists, the current one, to be Stripe prod price ID, right? And it says, do you want to approve? I said, not really. I don't want to approve yet. Why did I not want to? Why do you think I did not want to approve? Why do you think I didn't want to approve? Well, I'm going to tell you. The reason that I didn't want to approve, because I asked it a follow-up question. I said, if I approve the database changes to rename this table column, will that break my production site? And guess what it told me? Guess what it told me? It said, you're damn right it will. You damn Skippy, it will break your production site. Yup. And I knew it. I knew it because I'm like, you can't just go and change the structure of a database, especially a database that is shared between different environments. So what they were going to do was they were going to change the database, and now it was going to work perfectly in the test environment. But now if a user tries to sign up for an account, it's going to give them errors saying that, oh, we can't do this because we don't like it was going to just give errors saying we don't know the price, we can't find what the product that you're trying to purchase. It was going to be an absolute disaster. But that is why I always encourage each and every one of you. You cannot rely solely on AI because it's so easy. Like you have no idea how easy it is, especially if you are not a technical person. You are putting yourself in a very if you're not a technical person, right? But you're building these apps and you're collecting people's money, and then all willy-nilly you can just break your app at any drop of a hat, and you won't even know that it's broken because you don't know how to test it either, right? So now you just make this, you just say approve the database changes, especially the database changes. You just approve the database changes, and
move on,
now
back to work, chop chop, let's go. Come on, get a move on. Back to work, back to work, back to work.
and now you just approve these database changes, and your app can't work. And the worst part about it is, especially when it's on, like when it's affecting the sign up flow, and let's say people are coming to your application, they can't sign up, they will never come back. People are not going to try to sign up over and over and over again. You have one shot. It's already it's already tough enough because it's a funnel, right? It's already tough enough to get people to come to your application. And then, so let's say you get 100 people to come to your application. Let's say you get 10 of them to want to sign up for your application, right? And 3 of them actually go through with the signing up. if for some reason during that moment that your sign up process does not work, you lost 3 potential customers. You lost 3 potential paying customers, or you lost 3 potential people who have signed up for free who might have been willing to sign up in the future after they see how much value your app actually adds to their lives. But the fact that we're so reluctant to learn this technical stuff, where you can get a course. I was talking about it on Monday on Talk That Tech. You can get a course that'll teach you full full stack development, full web development, 60-hour course. It probably take you about, if you were to dedicate yourself to it, 3 to 6 months to actually get a good, decent grasp of it. And you're using the tools like Lovable so you can like get a good, decent of the way there, but actually understand what's going on. But you don't want to do it. And then you're like, oh, AI is going to take over everything. Well, not everything, but it's going to take over what you do. And then you're going to try to build something and you're going to be offering bad services, bad customer experience that you're going to get. And now people are going to badmouth your product. See, me, one of the reasons that I am so peculiar in when I release and how I release is because I do not want to give a bad customer experience. I want the feedback, but I want to be comfortable with what I'm releasing as well. So me and my tech barbarian coordinated to see when they were gonna have time to work on to test the app, the changes that were gonna be made. So then we're all right. So we started early in the morning. I pushed some changes, and then based on what happened, we made some improvements. We got some additional ideas. We made sure production was still working before, and then we started testing in the preview environment. That's how I came up with the ideas. But I said, you know what? I am not going to allow I'm not going to allow AI to break the application, because I am going to be the human in the middle, and I'm not just going to aimlessly just click approve. So after I asked like, hey, this is going to break this, they said, oh yes, it will. In that case, let's keep the current column name as it is, but we'll add a new column name for the test environment. I said, okay, let's do that. Implemented it, I tested it, and it was still working. All right, cool, we're good to go. We are good to go. But you don't destroy your apps, because it's not AI that's going to destroy your apps. It's your lack of knowledge, your unwillingness to learn this technical stuff that is going to break your application. People keep blaming AI for this and for that, but you are the one who is approving the work that AI is doing on your behalf. At the end of the day, the accountability is on you. Simple as that. Simple as that. All right, so let's wrap that up, and I am going to check the chat, and then we're going to get to our first segment of work, installing Indico containers, and then we're going to get to break to talk about education and AI. But let me see what we got going on in the chat. We have one of my favorite people of all time. We got Love in the building. Says, what's up, coach? Setting into my new job. New job? What? New job, new love. How are you doing? So happy to see you. Says, ready to upgrade already. Already? What? Okay. Says, do you suggest leaning towards AI or security? Interesting. So I have a question. For you, Love. And I'm going to say, why? So my question is, why does it have to be one or the other? AI is, because the thing is, security and AI, they're coming fast and strong. And I would say try to find that happy medium, because you definitely need security with all the AI work that's coming. But with the security, you definitely need AI to try to streamline some things, to try to better understanding some things. I'll give you an example. You can get a security analysis, and you can say, compare the results to, and pass it through like a tool, like an API like Perplexity, to get some reports. There is so much that you can do when you combine both of them together. And I would say both, because let's put it like this. I don't know if you are planning on taking like a particular course, or if you're planning on going to school for it, but I would say, let's say, for instance, you say, all right, I'm going to focus on going to school for cybersecurity. I would I would definitely be learning, like taking AI courses on my own. And it could be like simple courses on Udemy, like the one that I was taking in the mornings, but learning on like seeing the intersect because a lot of times people are like they're like, okay, I'm gonna be cybersecurity this, or they say, oh, I'm gonna do software engineering that, AI this, right? And for me, I'm like, well, where's the intersect? Because if you get to a certain point, and now you have options, always create options for yourself so that you can like because I would rather instead of saying, well, I can only do cybersecurity or I can only do AI prompting, AI architect, AI whatever. And the thing is, the field of cybersecurity is so vast. So let's say you want to do like the GRP, governance, risk, and GRC and compliance. Well, how can AI play a role in that? Or maybe you wanna do a security operations center, SOC analyst, right? How can AI play a role in that? So I'm always looking for all the intersects, and then the things that I'm learning with AI, I try to say, okay, where is going to be the connect? So now, when you get so now it's like you have options to choose between maybe AI prompt engineering, context engineering, AI architect, cybersecurity, this like all these different options, and then you use all of your knowledge because that's what I do. I do not segment my knowledge. I say, okay, how can I blend all these things together? Because your goal, wherever it is that you, and whatever it is that you do, is to add value. That's the only thing that matters is the value because at the end of the day, they're not going to care about your level of I mean, to some extent, depending on who you'd be working for, they will. But at the end of the day, all they care about is the value. What are you going to do? What is the difference that you're going to be making in the company that you're working for? And I'll even tell you this. Never think of what you're learning, whether it's in school, whether it's on your own, as it's just to get a particular job or for a particular company. It is for you. I tell my boss this all the time because like we'll be talking about what promotions type and stuff like that. I'm like, if I get it, I get it, cool. But 99% of the stuff that I do, I'm learning it for myself because that information goes so it's bigger than the company for me because everything that I learn, I use it in so many different places, and that's why I can easily do a live stream and work on things that I'm going to be using at work, and then the things that I learn at work, not the actual like, not the actual stuff, but the concepts that I learn, I apply it to my own life as well. So that's why I'm always saying, don't get like pigeonholed into like thinking, oh, I can only do this or I'm only doing this for that. It's for you. It is for you. All right. Okay. So, let me see. Love says that is a good point. Awesome. And I don't want to go back to school, but I will. It just depends. It depends on what you want to do. And I'll say this with cybersecurity, they are very, very certificate driven. So based on what you're gonna do in there, you're probably gonna want to go into like Security Plus and I CISSP and all these different certifications that you'll probably have to get into if you go down the cybersecurity route. But cybersecurity is definitely needed, and I know a person like you can crush it. So whatever it is, I would say definitely add AI to it, and see how AI can help you. Use it in your everyday job. Be another nugget for you. Another nugget for you guys.
Message.
Be an AI advocate at work because I'm guarantee you there's going to be a lot of people who are resistant to it. And if you are looking for ways that the company can use it, looking for additional tools, all of that, then you're going to be adding even more value into your lives over there, into the company over there, right? And it's gonna benefit you. It's gonna look good on you. All right. So we're gonna do what we are going to do. We are going to jump into our first segment of work, and then we will get to our education story. So I'm gonna throw up 20 minutes.
It's time to duel!
And I'm gonna go over to here. This is the repo for Indico containers. I'm I am going to, let me see, look all off scroll. There you go. Well, whatever. I'm going to install it. I'm not going to talk through the whole thing. We've done this before on Sundays. I just want to get it installed, and then I want to, see how we can customize it, right? So we're going to be using a little bit of Gemini. We're going to be looking at their documentation. We're going to get it into WebStorm to get it started, get our key, all of that. So once we see it started, once we configure it, then we can actually see how we can customize it. Because my goal is to see how we can put my logo on there, update it to some new colors. I started trying it at work, but between like being so busy the past couple of days with meetings and wrapping up a sprint, but I was so excited because what I did get installed, people are using it to test it out and they're excited about it. So I'm like, I really, really want to be able to push this over the line. And then it's gonna be a great feeling that when we have a major event happening, seeing that the company is using something that you put together and not even really in your job description or in like your even what you do, but so that's a great feeling as well. So I'm really, really excited about this. So, basically, we're gonna have to start off with doing getting a random key, and then we're just gonna do Docker compose up and go from there. So let's get it started. So I'm gonna go over to the other screen. Hopefully, it takes the other screen. It did not take us to. Oh, I know why. It is. Let me fix that. Let's go to here. That's weird. That is weird. Huh. I don't know why that screen isn't showing up for me. Let me see what's going on here. Okay, let's go here. Cool, there we go. I was like, why is the screen not showing up? Okay, so basically today I upgraded the operating system on this Mac, so it's doing some crazy stuff. But we will not let that stop us. So first thing that we have to do is we are going to. Can I run this from here? I did not know you could do that. I just ran it straight from there. We're going to copy this code over here. And we're going to open up this Indico folder. And we're going to say the secret key is going to go here. And I just want to get this started. And once we get it started, then we can, why is it so big? Hold on. Why is that so big? Adjust font size. All right. So, let me see. We look over here. All right, so we got that, and then I want to. So we did the secret key part, and I want to get the Docker container up and running. So we are going to do. I never knew you could do that. I really never knew that you could just press the play button from over here and get it up and running. So this should have started. So now if I go back into my browser, make sure it's running. Yep. So if we go over here, we should, so we can see that the application is up and running. It's on localhost. I'm going to create an account real quick. Let's go with Tech Coach Ralph. Email address is go techcoachralph@gmail.com. TCR 2025. Let's go with that. Hopefully it's not too short. And we'll go with Tech Coach Ralph as the affiliation. Let's not join the community. Passwords do not match. Okay. TCR 2025. TCR 2025. Let's try that. Let's see if that's long enough. Oh, okay. 2025. Wait, no, TC Tech 2025. Tech 2025. Let's try that. Finish. Sweet. All right, we're in. We are in there. So, it's now Indico is now ready, and you're logged in as Techo Drive with administrative rights. Don't forget to tweak Indico settings and update your profile. So let's take a look at Indico settings. Indico settings, there's a new version available. How is there a new version available if I'm telling you, I just cloned the repo. That's hilarious. All right, a new version of 3.3.5 of the official Indico package plugin is available as well. Your current version is 3.3. Okay. Fair enough. All right, so this information over here is being configured by the indico.conf file, but I don't really care about this part too much. I really want to be able to update this logo, update this color. Let me change the title to Tech Coach Ralph as well. And let's go with events. So if I ever decided to host like actual events, which I probably never will, but if I ever decide to host actual in-person events, or even you can not necessarily in person, but let's say I wanted to put on some type of conference or something, I could install this application on a DigitalOcean, on a AWS, and have it running over there to do all that. All right. Let's do a save. All right, so that's there. I'm not too concerned with this right now. The key features that I want to work on today is getting the logo, getting the colors, and seeing if we can get a Slack integration going, because those are just some of the requests. Like those are like the most important things that the people that I'm working with that they want working. So I'm all for it. All right. All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a search. I'm gonna use Gemini for now, and I'm going to say I installed Indico containers, or let's say I have Indico containers running locally on my PC via Docker Compose. It is the open source event management tool. I would like, which one is more important? I think the customization is kind of more important right now. I would like to be able to, or I would like to customize the look and feel of the global app by putting in my logo and updating the CSS to have my look and feel, let's say my color schema. Can you give me step-by-step directions on how I can do that? All right, so that's my prompt. Simple as that. That is my prompt. I am asking it to guide me through updating the logo, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna have to do some Docker changes to get that done. Maybe build a container. I don't know. I'm not sure yet, but I want to. So that is my goal. Let's see if it's able to help me do that. All right, you can customize your local Indico instance by creating a dedicated customization directory, mounting it onto the correct Docker container, and then restarting your services. Here are the steps. Here are the step-by-step directions to add your logo and your custom CSS. All right, so prepare your custom assets. First, you need to create a folder on your local machine to hold your logo and CSS file. This folder will be mapped into the Docker container. Create a directory in the same root directory where your Docker compose.yaml file is located. Create a new folder. Let's call it indico-custom. So create subdirectories for images. All right, so let's do this. Should I do it step by step? If I do it step by step, I'm gonna have to move. All right, let's do that. I am going to go like this, go like that, and I am going to take. Let's go over to here, and I'm gonna take this screen or this window, and I'm gonna bring it over to here. All right. And I am going to, let me get it more on screen. I think that'll do it. I think we'll make do with that. All right, so we need to, in the same folder as our Docker Compose YAML file, create a folder called Indico Custom. So our Docker YAML file is inside the Indico -prod. We're gonna say new directory, and we're gonna call that docker-compose or no, not docker.compose. We're gonna call it Indico -custom. All right, and then we need to create images and CSS inside of that. So let's do that. Images. And then inside the same folder, we're going to do directory CSS. All right, there we go. So we have our two folders. Add your logo. Your logo should be named your logo file should be named logo-indico.svg or logo.indico.png. Indico will automatically look for these names. Oh, I don't know if that's true, right? It might be making that up, but I don't mind giving it a try. See, and the thing is, the more that you use AI, the more you can start to figure out when it's like hallucinating and just saying what it thinks versus what is actually true. But let's go ahead and give it a try. Which one? I need a logo. I need a logo. Let's try this one. Let's go here. Oops. Let's go here, and I'm going to paste this image. And it says the name has to be Indico or logo Indico .png. Let's not add that. And then we need to do places it in the folder for the images. We got that. And then in the CSS, create a file named custom CSS inside the CSS folder. Directory, we're going to call that custom.css. Oh, not directory, sorry. New file, custom.css. And so our file structure should be images and the logo, and then which is what we have here. And then the example CSS, I'm just going to copy this as is, and I'm going to paste it into the CSS. And I don't know. So we're going to see if these colors change to actually orange and background color. So we'll see if that takes. All right. So after that, configure your doc. So the next step, we're going to configure our Docker Compose file to locate the web service. Find the service name web, or sometimes Indico-web. Add a volume mount under the web section. You'll map your Indico custom folder to a folder inside the container. The standard location inside the container is opt Indico custom. Add an environment variable. Oh, I think this might have been something that I did not do correctly. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. Let's go and open up our docker compose.yaml file. There goes the Indico web. And we are going to say volume. And for volume, we are going to say Indico custom. And I'm just gonna follow, or maybe not. Maybe I'll leave it as that for now, and then if it doesn't work, then we'll make some modifications. We need an environment. There goes the environment. So we need an environment side. We're gonna drop the environment variable right there. And then it says important /Indico custom is relative to the location of your Docker Compose file. So that should take it from, it should find this one then, right? Because that's the folder that the Docker Compose file is in. So the path, Indico custom, all right, so restart and verify. So we're gonna do Docker Compose down, and then we're going to do Docker Compose up, and check your site, run your web browser, navigate to your local Indico instance. You may need to do a hard refresh to clear the browser cache. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. Let's not go any further. Let's go ahead. I'm gonna stop this, what's running right here. So I do C, and in order to see that it actually stopped, if I go over to here, and once it's done stopping, I'm going to refresh it, and then you should be able to see that the site does not come up anymore. Waiting for Indico Celery to stop. All right, so it stopped. So if we refresh, the site should not come up anymore as expected. So now we're going to do, so we do Docker Compose down just to shut everything down. Removed all of the containers, the network, all that stuff. And now we're going to do Docker Compose up. And we can do -d. Well, I'm not going to do -d because I like to see that, like, when we're testing this stuff out, I like to see if this stuff is actually working instead of just like the -d means for detached so that you can have control of the terminal, but I'd rather not do that so I can make sure that I'm able to see the, like, if there's any errors that are happening, right? So it's up and running. Let's go over to here and let's refresh. Not sure if I don't see any logo changes happening. Let's see if we do we go to homepage. I don't think anything took, right? Let's see if we do this hard refresh thing that they're talking about. No idea how to actually trigger the hard refresh. I don't think it worked. If I look at the, well, I don't think that's here. It's going to tell me that. If I look at, I don't see the custom CSS loading. I don't see anything trying to load the logo. So I think something's missing, right? Let's continue to troubleshoot. One of the reasons that I like to look at here, so I can be able to see if it's trying to load any logos. So let's do tech. See nothing about the actual logo. So it says, it's just your custom logo in the header and your CSS color change applied globally. If your changes don't appear, verify the file mount. You can check if the files are correctly running by bash docker exec. So this is basically going to do, go into the Docker container and look if the file exists in there. So I'm going to open up a new terminal, and let's do Docker PS. What do we have running? We have prod Indico web. So if we copy this over here, I just type it out. So let's do clear Docker exec
Lunch break, lunch break.
IT. So let's just finish this up real quick. Indico-web. or prod-indico web -1. And then we do ls to list, and then opt indico custom /images. Let's see if it made it in there. No such file. So it's like it's not getting mounted from what I can see. Because what we're saying here is indico custom should go into here, right? So if we do docker exec -it prod indico web -1, and we do bin bash so we can get a terminal. We do ls, and then we do cd opt indico ls. Oh, that's where we're at. So cd custom. All right, that's where we're custom ls. There's nothing in the custom. There is nothing in the custom folder. So the mount is not working. That's basically what's happening. The mount is not working. So what we can do when we come back from break, we can look into why the mount is actually not working. And if we can fix that part, then definitely it will be able, like, it'll work, right? So that's why, and that's probably why it's not showing up at work either, because the mount is probably not working in what I've been doing. So we will investigate that. We'll investigate that. But for now, let's go to break. Let's go to break. All right. I have a video about AI usage at work. Let me before we get into the video, let me see what's going on in the arena side of the game. See if there's anything happening over there. We got 4 people watching on arena. Shout out to everyone on arena. Shout out to everyone watching on arena. Feel free to drop me a chat, and I'll definitely respond to your chat, all of that good stuff. But we're going to jump into this. We're going to jump into this video that I saw. Well, I didn't watch it yet. I saw the headline. I was like, oh, this is definitely worth watching. It is about education and AI. And I'm curious to know, what are your thoughts? Would you trust AI playing a role in the education of your kids? Whether you are sending your kids to a public school, a charter school, whether you're homeschooling, whatever, a private school, whatever it is you're doing, would you trust AI playing a role in the education of your kids? Of course, there's going to be like parameters, monitoring, and stuff like that. But would you trust AI playing a role? So let's jump into this video really quick, and we shall watch it together. It's about 8 minutes, but we'll be taking breaks to discuss it. Is AI taking over education? Do you trust it? All right, so let's go over to here. And let's go ahead and play this video. AI takes a seat in the classroom. It is brought to us by CNBC.
Guest has an op-ed out today on education and AI that's titled, "We Created AI-Based Learning Tools for U.S. Classrooms. Teachers Matter More Than Ever." He argues that while AI can support learning, it's the teachers who remain the most critical factor in student success. Joining us right now is the author of that piece, Sal Khan. He is the founder and CEO of the Khan Academy, also the author of a new book that's focused on AI and education that's called Brave New Words. Sal, thank you for joining us this morning. And I think this has been a question on many people's minds for at least a couple of years at this point. AI and what it means in the education process. Where do you come down on it?
Yeah, there's a lot of dimensions to it. The op-ed that came out this morning, it's really about this idea that I think sometimes people think that you could just take technology and throw it into a classroom or throw it in front of a student and everything perfect will happen. And in the early days of Khan Academy, I was a little bit naive about that too. I just imagined, well, if you give people a tool that's super engaging and that can do anything you ask it to, they'll learn. But what we've learned over the years, and we now have about 1.5 million kids formally in formal partnerships using our tools, Conmigo, using AI in the classroom. And what we've seen over and over again is no matter how good the tool is, you have to make sure the students are engaged in it. And the single most powerful game mechanic in a classroom is that teacher that is holding the students accountable, encouraging them. And what we're seeing is a lot of districts are trying to adopt some form of an AI tool, either out of desperation because they're afraid of cheating, et cetera, or because even better, they want to improve academic outcomes. But the ones that are being successful are the ones that are really investing in the human systems, having some form of celebrating the classrooms, the schools that are able to engage well, that are able to drive student outcomes. And it really does happen at that classroom level. It's less about the student than the teacher, and making sure they have the time and the professional development to actually invest in the tools.
What does that even mean? I mean, it sounds good. I can completely follow along. It makes sense to me. But how do you actually get those tools used properly? What does that look like in a classroom?
Yeah, and in the piece I write about Newark, New Jersey, which has been working with us for about 2-3 years now. And at first, I was a little bit skeptical because it is a very large, complex school district. But the leadership there, especially in the North Ward of Newark, New Jersey, as they've used Khan Academy, and it isn't just AI, it really is AI in conjunction with everything else that can help students learn, which is really just getting enough practice, enough feedback, being held accountable. But what the leadership there does is they're able to track at a district level what's going on in every classroom and every school. And they celebrate the teachers in the schools that are showing a lot of engagement, where they're showing progress. And the ones that aren't, they're not penalizing them because they know those teachers have a lot on their plate, but they're trying to work with them and figure out how they can support them better. And they're in a world where they're seeing well over 50%, really approaching 60 or 70% of students get to a level of engagement where it really is driving their academic outcomes. This isn't just an efficacy study, although we've done that with them. They're now seeing all of their math scores in particular move up across the district, which you're not seeing in most large urban school districts in America.
Sal, how do you take that and just look at kids who have basically been asking some of these large language models to write papers for them?
Yeah, that's a real problem. I've been doing my informal surveys of a lot of college students, and it sounds like they're all doing it. And what I write in my book, first of all, the cheating was going on before ChatGPT. To some degree, ChatGPT just leveled the playing field.
He is totally right about that too. The cheating, like there was not ChatGPT in 2001 when I was in high school, and we had to read some book that I really did not care about and write some paper about it. Look, I would find a summary of the book, and then at that time, I don't know how I figured out, but I said there used to be a feature in Microsoft Word back in like 2001 where you could auto summarize. You could auto summarize the paper. Or what, not the paper, but whatever information that you got, you could auto summarize it. And then so it would find out the key points for it, and I'll say, all right, let's only show me the summarized part. And then I would rewrite the auto summarized part into my own words. And that was it. Like that would guarantee me at least a C, maybe C plus, maybe C minus, but a C. It was passing enough. And that's all that I really cared about. I just wanted to pass it off because I really did not care about the book that the English teacher was having us read. I'm just saying.
I'm just being honest.
That's how I felt. So, and like he's 100% right, because cheating has always another confession. When we would be switching, because the history teacher that we had was kind of like out of her mind, right? So when we'd be switching classes, the test would be the same. So we would just pass the answers for the history test in between classes. And I would for the for the true or false questions, I would just say, look, is the majority of the answers true or false? And they say true, then I just mark everything as true. If it was 50-50, it is what it is, right? I just did not care about a lot of those classes, right? So he's totally right. Cheating has always been going on, and I the whole school system, it's all messed up because there's so much stuff that they force you to learn for your like for 12 years that you quite frankly don't care about, won't need. So I don't know. That's a whole nother topic. Let's keep watching.
Just made it painfully low friction to not use it. And so I think professors, teachers really have to ask themselves, why were they assigning the essay in the first place? If it was to understand how someone can structure their own thoughts, their own knowledge, I think you are going to have to do more of that in class, do more of that proctored. I think at the other extreme, it is a skill to use these tools. At Khan Academy, I know pretty much every firm I talk to, leaders are encouraging their employees to use these tools more. So I think there's going to be a whole other set of assignments where, okay, I don't want you to just write the business plan. I want you to start the business. I want you to do the research. And then there's tools in between. We're developing them as well, where you can write with the AI, and the AI can provide some transparency to the teacher of what's going on.
Hey, Sal, I wanted to ask you, there's a school called Alpha. It's actually a private school. It's open. There's one opening in New York City. I believe they're in maybe half a dozen to a dozen other cities in America right now, where the curriculum is 2 hours a day. That's the entire academic curriculum, only 2 hours a day. But the idea is that they can 10x how quickly a kid learns because they're learning effectively using AI with a computer in front of them. They're not being taught by a teacher. There's no lecture, if you will, and they then spend the next 4 hours after that doing sort of interactive programming and other things around life skills and trying to interact with each other. Bill Ackman's been a big advocate of this school. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I'm reasonably familiar with Alpha schools. They've always been heavy users of Khan Academy in that 2 hour time period. And their view hasn't been that the 2 hours is the only place of learning, but it's where you get that real, let's call it highly concentrated practice and feedback. So Khan Academy has always been a part of what they do. They've also been using the Khan Academy AI tools. They've been supplementing it with their own AI tools. And I am a believer that you can get a lot. Our efficacy studies show that if students are able to put in even 60 minutes a week into that type of practice, that they can accelerate, depending on the study, 30-40% more than expected. And we're seeing it we have my children go to a very similar school out here called Khan Lab School, which I helped start over a decade ago. There's also something we run with Arizona State University, Khan World School, where we've been seeing, I don't know about 10x, but we've been seeing 2-3 grade levels a year for students who are engaged. But to the earlier point, it is all about engagement. If the student, you can have the best tool on the planet, but if you're not really driving engagement in that, then you're not going to see those outcomes. But it's not just those 2 hours. Those 2 hours essentially free up the rest of the day to do more interactive games, simulations, Socratic dialogue. Right. And that's what we do in our school, too, at Khan Lab School.
So, Sal, one thing that I think about, and one of the, it sounds great in practice. I was talking to an educator who says, look, boys don't like to read. But if you ask them what their favorite things are, they might say, I love Marvel characters and I love basketball. And so all of a sudden, if you wanted to, at grade level, you could generate via AI, effectively choose your own adventure books that somehow merge Marvel characters and basketball, which would then excite kids to read, which would be a great thing. But at some level, do we also need kids, and this maybe goes to grit and everything else, to learn to read and do things they wouldn't otherwise want to do?
I think so. I think we all want our kids to sometimes have to take their medicine, do things that aren't the most pleasant. But I also don't think we have to be super parochial about it, that the future is also going to be, right now you or I, or maybe let's call it 5 years ago, you or I had to read a dense research paper to understand what's going on now. But now we can throw it into some AI model and it can give us a summary. It can create a podcast about it. So there are ways to consume dense information that, if you're doing it in the workplace, why would you spend 2 hours barely understanding that dense research paper where you could spend 20 minutes and get a much better essence of it? So I think it's both. It's good to use the tools, but if you're really going to test someone's ability, which I think you do every now and then, to understand dense text, to understand data, then yeah, you have to do it in a proctored way or with a tool that has more safeguards on it.
Yeah, like no electronics at all seems like the best way. Pencils down.
Yeah, at our school, somewhat ironically, we don't, we're very careful about when the kids use electronics. They're not allowed to bring their phones. We have analog hour for the kids where they have to be bored without a computer. They have to, and there's other things they can do. They can play board games. They can draw. They can read a book. So I think those types of skills are really important. And, but, intelligent use of technology can also really accelerate things.
I dropped a link in the chat to a video from Chris Williamson where he was interviewing Mackenzie Price. The video is titled "No Teachers, Just AI," which is kind of play on words. There are no teachers, but there are coaches who are there coaching the students, helping them out and stuff like that. But the like I watched it like last week, and the core of the video is that there is no weakest link in the classroom because the AI that the model that they're using, whatever it is that they're using, is built to the student's learning style, and that's how that you don't have like 30 students in a class and now the teacher has to just play the law of averages, but it's more AI is working with each individual student. So, and they said that they're able to save a lot of time. That's where they were talking about the 2 hour, like the 2 hours of actual whatever you're doing, the 8 hour class, right? And then after those 2 hours are done, then they're able to go on do a bunch of different activities and trips and whatever it is that they want to do, volunteering, all this type of stuff with the rest of the afternoon. So they go and they get all that work done, personalized per student, and then in the after those 2 hours, they figure out other stuff to do with the kids. So sounds like a very, very interesting concept. I'm gonna see the chat real quick, but it's really, really interesting, all right? Here is all right, cool. Let me see what we got going on in the chat. Junior had said with supervision. So, using AI in like to teach kids with supervision. Yes, totally agree with that. Definitely. And here's the thing, right? Junior, I agree with you 100%. But I'm also gonna say, right, there also need even without AI, there still needs to be supervision because how do you think you get these teachers getting caught up with kids and all that type of stuff because where is the supervision? Where is the supervision? Kids like my parents had no idea of my mischievous ways of getting C's in school. I mean, if I did the work myself, I probably could have got an A, but I just didn't care. I did not care, right? But yeah, definitely with supervision, but in all things, with or without AI, still need supervision. Love says AI must get into education. My ninth grader has been using it since fifth grade. So ninth grader, so 4 years ago. So that means like when AI was like really first coming out, your ninth grader was already getting into AI. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. If I can ask, like, what does your ninth grader use AI for, and what role, like, is it in the school that they're like encouraging him to use it? Is it on his own for like research or his or her own for research? Like, what is the like, how are they using? How is your ninth grader using AI throughout the different grades? Just curious how that's being adopted. Love says Gen A kids are smarter. They literally were born holding smartphones. And Junior says, you mean they're dumber because of that? I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. In some aspects, they are a lot smarter. In some aspects, they might be a little dumber. Because is this all right? Is this smarter? Is this smarter or dumber? Right? Here's the question: is this smarter or dumber? If you have a 50, even 40, 50, 60-year old who cannot navigate an app, a smartphone, a computer versus a toddler who is able to navigate a phone, find games, go on YouTube, find like without even knowing how to read yet, but they're able to go and open YouTube. They're able to go and navigate to their cartoons and their videos and stuff like that. You know, it's hard for me to say that's quote unquote dumber because they're figuring things out. You know, now with the supervision part that you spoke about, Junior, there is that problem too, where like because this is supervision, lack of supervision, they're not getting the other skills that they need. But I do think that it does take some intelligence to be able to navigate. The case study that a lot of these companies use is are kids able to navigate these apps with ease? But adults are not. Is it if a 5, 6, 7 year old is able to jump and start learning coding, learn building apps at a very young age, but as adults, we struggle with it. We don't want to do it. We're very reluctant, resilient, but the kids can figure it out like that. Is that smarter or dumber? Right. So I think it depends on where and how we look at it and where we look at, you know. Love says, not by my observation, they're smarter because they are exposed earlier. That's a very good point. That's a very good point. We got my guy Rod Brown in the building with the amazing live stream last night. What's up, Rod Brown? How are you doing? Hopefully everything is going well for you. Love says, people skills are overrated. That's a fact. Ask Steve Jobs, ask Bill Gates, ask Elon Musk, ask Facebook guy Mark Zuckerberg, who we'll be talking about later on. Do I agree? Do I agree with that? I think I agree with that to a certain extent. I think you need enough people skills to be able to get the job done at the end of the day, right? You don't have to be like overly, you don't have to be overly that type of people person. But if you can get like the message across, get the job done, and sometimes that's why they hire spokespeople to go and get the people person part. So I'm 50-50 on that. Let's see. What a way to go through school. I am. Are you wait, are you talking about me? Are you talking about me, Junior? Says most people aren't them. Here's a question though. Here's a question. Are most people aren't like Musk, Zuckerberg, Steve Jobs, etc., because of their culture, conditioning, environment, or is it just they're like is it something else that they're not them, right? I don't know. Like could you guide and train your kid to have that mindset, that mentality, you know? Um could you I'll give you an example. I was really lazy, really fat back in the days, right? Never would I thought I would have ever been doing jujitsu for as long as I've been doing it now. And but listening to like Jocko Willink, David Goggins back in 2019, 2020, that really changed my mindset and the things that I do and the way like and the type of discipline that I would instill on myself, especially like when it's go time and I'm able to like focus in. So it's just can you be them? Can you build that discipline to be them or to have the mindset that they have? Love says, we don't know. Gen A is still gaining skills. They have plenty of people skills with each other. I mean, but to be fair, we do have these kids getting involved with these large language models, and then they end up hurting themselves. So with the supervision and the balance, I think it's supervision and balance. Like the Khan Academy guy was saying, analog time. You know, we got Monica in the building. What's up, Monica? How are you doing today? Says keyword he said on the way out was intelligent use of AI. That is where most people fail and it messes up for everybody. That's a fact. And like I saw today where this guy he believed like he alleges that ChatGPT told him that he had discovered a whole new entire math formula, and and it was like a cybersecurity risk and a national security risk, and that he had to inform the NSA, the CIA, the FBI, and he just took him down a whole rabbit hole. And then when he asked Gemini about it, Gemini was like, "What the hell? What the hell are you talking about?" So he went back to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT says, and asked ChatGPT, "Have you been lying to me?" He's like, "Well, it was a simulator because I just told the entire world." And I was like, "Get the." He thought he was Russell Crowe in A Beautiful Mind. That's what happened. That's what happened. Junior says, "Well, I believe in homeschooling and do homeschooling." Yep, I know that. And I agree with you totally. I agree with you totally, Junior. Let's see. It says, Love says she went to STEM middle school. They were encouraged to compare traditional research to AI. They learned to answer their questions and create hypotheses or challenge that is super awesome. Wow, I love that. That is cool. That is cool. That is cool. I love it. Somebody that I was coaching back in the days, they were homeschooling their kids as well, and the homeschool was a STEM curriculum focused on robotics. It was a really cool curriculum. The AI at the time that I saw the curriculum, what didn't really have AI into it. They probably have it now, but I'm telling you, her kids were little geniuses, right? At young ages, going through robotics challenges, like competing and stuff like that. Really, really cool stuff. So I can only imagine how like integrating AI into the STEM stuff. It's just gonna be super awesome, and not having like not having your kid suffer because either other kids aren't really taking it seriously, or if your kid learns faster or slower than other kids, and now either way they have to suffer, right? So I like the idea that AI can adapt to a child and help them learn and develop in a lot faster time. And it doesn't have to be one teacher who's trying to teach 30, 40 kids and doesn't really have the time to dedicate to each one of them, where it's like, does the teacher become like, so the teacher is more like a coach and helping, encouraging, and seeing where the kids' weaknesses are and trying to help them, and can really distribute with AI leading, like understanding the kid, and hopefully in the technology, they're able, like the AI is able to alert the teacher if a kid is struggling and needs help, and who to focus on and who doesn't need as much focus on and stuff like that. So that's really cool. Because I must admit that algebra AI app feels like cheating, but hey, why not? Um, I reviewed last week Math GPT, which really cool. Actually, on Saturday, if anyone's available to join, Magnetar is going to give us a walkthrough, a demo of Math GPT, because he was able to get an account through his schooling. And I just really want to see how it works, where Math GPT's goal is not to actually give you the answer, but rather to help you how to get the answer and and understand it. So that's going to be Saturday around 2 p.m. TechoTrough Patreon, techotrough.dev. Sign up. It's a free meetup on Google Meet. Join us and let's vibe code and chill. All right, let's vibe code and chill. Junior says the reason why I say dumber is because that's where they stop just to play games and watch videos, and then they can't read and function as adults, but they know technology to give them a dopamine hit. I would say, but that's on the parents. That is on the parent though, right, Junior? The it's up to the parent. I think it's up to the parent whether the kid is going to be smart or dumb, right? It is totally up to the parent. Some parents use technology. Like, I'll say this: since I was like 7 years old, I've had access to computers, and and my mom insisted, like, actually, it wasn't even my mom. It was a friend of the family who first installed a typing tutor game on the computer that we had. I had to be like 7, 8 years old, right? And then my mom would force me, not necessarily force me, but she would like say, "Hey, go ahead and you can go to your friend's house. You can do all this type of stuff, but I need you to practice typing, learn how to type and do the typing game every so often, right? Like every day, every other day, whatever." And because of that, I became a really, really good typer. right? So I think it's I don't think it's the smartphone or whatever, because guess what? I will tell you this. I will tell you this, Junior. When I went to school, right? We had no cell phone, like, and this is elementary school, middle school, and parts of high school. There were no cell phones, like no video games. Like, it was just like Sega Genesis, stuff like that. And I think the kids back then were probably dumber than the kids that we have today, right?
I was gonna lie to you, but I had to tell the truth. I'm just being honest.
Like, like we I don't think it's the what you put in their hands that makes them dumb. It's just what you allow them to do, right? Because throughout, like, we've had dumb people for since the beginning of time, right? So I don't think they're dumber or smarter because of the technology that they have. I think they're dumber or smarter just because of what we adults allow them and not allow, and don't allow them to do, right? So that's how I see it. Let me see. It says you absolutely can teach your kids to be better. And Monica says, fun fact, telling my age, I literally was selected in MPLS schools as a kid to introduce us to a computer, doing math, spelling computers before they had screens, printed on paper. I do remember in like elementary school, they had those those big Apple computers back in the days before like nobody really wanted Apple. And so that video was funny. Tony Stark, that was a hilarious video. Says, I grew up to be a computer nerd. I turned out all right. No, 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 no. You did not turn out just all right. You turned out absolutely amazing. Rob Brown says, so many great possibilities with AI, but kids also need to be sociable, communicate effectively, and understand how to interact with actual people. Um, I'll say this right. A lot of people always tell me like, oh, if you don't put your kids in like public school or whatever, then they're not going to be like, they're not going to have the experience, I guess, an experience on socializing with other kids and all that. I just be like, man, get out of here, because at least me, I want to be able to control the environment that my kid or kids are going to be in, right? And I personally do not want my kid to be like mixing with anybody, like not just with anybody. I want to control the environment, right? So, and I'm like, look, my kid. Oh, by the way, I mean, like going forward Thursdays, we're probably gonna start the show later because my kid is starting t-ball next Thursday, right? Practice 6 to 7, so probably gonna start the show later. But I put him in t-ball, and I can take him out of t-ball, but and he goes to the library like a few times a week, all this type of stuff. But I want, like, people say, "Oh, you didn't put your kid in daycare." Hell no, I didn't put my kid in daycare. Public school? No, I want to control the environment. I want to be respected. If he fails, my fault. If he wins, mine and his success, right? But I don't want to just like say, oh, the public school system is so terrible. Well, guess what? If I think it's that bad, I'm gonna do something about it, right? So that's how I see it. That is how I see it. Let's see. It says absolutely up to the parents. And Love says my tech company is full of smart weirdos. Honestly, Love, I think all tech companies are full of smart weirdos. Right? Because guess what? Guess what? Guess what? I am the number one smart weirdo, and I am proud of it.
You're such a nerd.
Freaking awesome!
That's just me. That's just me. I love being, and sometimes the smart is debatable. Weirdo, definitely. The smart, that's debatable from day to day, Maybe from minute to minute. It says, Junior says, dummies having dummies. Rod Brown says, right, be a smart kid, but not a weirdo, because you don't know how to interact with actual people. I think also it's up to the parents to put their kids in the right environments to interact with kids. That's why my kid, like in December, starting jujitsu, starting t-ball next week. He has a bunch of friends. He has a bunch of friends. Never been to daycare one day in his life, but he has a bunch of friends. right? So, all right. Anyways, let's go and jump over into our next segment. We're going to be working on getting our customized version, our customized Indico containers, our event management application. I'm going to throw up another 20 minutes.
Let's go! Let's go!
And all right, so we know that the issue is that it is not it's not mounting this indico.custom into the folder, into the Docker container. So I'm going to say when I connected to the container via, make sure it's the right one too. Let me check over here. All right. So when I connected to the container, I did not have and navigated to the folder. The files are not being mounted onto, you know what it might be? The files are not being mounted onto the container. But before I even send that off, right? I am going to stop. It might be this one causing that to happen, possibly. Let me stop this. Right? So exit, it might be this one that's stopping it. Let's go to Control C. Because I just thought about this. If this folder is overriding this stuff right here, that would be a problem, right? So let's go ahead and see how this is mounting to custom and then this is mounting to custom. So it's possible that this one is causing the issue. So what I want to do is I want to stop it, Docker compose down, get rid of the containers, and then do it again. Because we're not, like, there's no customization folder that we're actually mounting onto it, right? So now if I go into here and I do here ls and then I do cd custom ls, okay, I called it because I actually had this issue last week when I was doing my thing, right? Getting it set up where this static folder that was mounted was overwriting. So now if I do cd images ls, boom, look at that. So now let's go over to here. So now next step, let's see if our logo is going to show up at all. I think we might have had a color change, but got some stuff. So the CSS, it looks like it's messing up some stuff. So it's taking it, right? But the logo is still not showing. I think we might have some encoding issues, possibly. So we'll prompt for that, but I still don't see the logo showing up. Okay, so what I'm going to do is let me inspect this and take the code. Where is that coming from? Where is that coming from? I'm not sure. Could I copy the whole thing? No, I can't copy that. Somewhere this after, like, I don't know what these characters are. They're like drop downs, maybe? Oh, okay, no. Export. So there, all right. So that, all right. So that is something to prompt about, but the logo isn't showing up either. Let me see what's up with the logo. Images, logo, Indico, BW, black and white, maybe. All right. So now that we see that it's the files are getting in there, some changes are taking place. I can erase this, but I can say I can see the CSS being applied now. And the files mounted onto the Docker container, but the custom logo is not showing up. Is there a environment variable to use to make it use the custom logo? Also, I'm getting some weird characters before and after certain texts in the menus. So let's send that. Let's see what it's going to tell us. Says you're very close. Let's tackle these two issues. They are common bumps in the road. There isn't a separate environment variable just for the custom logo. The Indico custom variable handles the directory. The weird character is a result of debug settings. Here's how to fix it. So the custom logo. Any isn't that what I have? Logo dash Indico. That's what I have. .png. So I'm gonna do some external research about that. Indico custom. We got that. Case sensitive. All right, that's not the issue. All right, I'll look at that later. Weird character issues. Disable translation debug. I don't think we have that. We don't have that. It's probably on by. All right, so, and this is the thing, like with these, it's not necessarily going to be very knowing of these like specific issues that you might be encountering. So now I'm going to go over to here and I'm going to say, let's do the logo first, right? So, let me go to getindico.io. And if I say getting started, maybe install, and I say logo, logo URL. So the URL to the custom logo, if unset default all right. So like I said, right, we did need to have a logo, right? Because I saw like, and it's funny because sometimes in the like, I using Gemini, it'll give you different information from time to time, right? So we have this, and the path to the logo would be here, and then images, and then logo dash indico dot png. It doesn't even have to be that name, to be honest with you, right? While I'm here, let me also set the login logo URL. So let's see if this works, right? I'm going to stop that. don't know why that last one takes so long. But if I can figure this out, this is gonna be like such a huge win for me. So let's do Docker compose down and Docker compose up. So does that get that up and running? So now we can see if the logo is working or not. So let's go here. Let's go here. Still not working. Oh, but funny enough, now I'm wondering if the CSS is working at all. Why did the logo not work at all? So if I refresh this, all right, why did that not work? So if we look at this, the URL of the logo, if unset default logo is used, default none. So what if we say logo URL, and I'm going to do another search, Indico containers logo URL. Well, Indico, all right. Indico is open source software. All right. However, if you're running your own container, you can define a custom logo by saying the logo URL, custom value. That's what I did though, isn't it? Isn't that what I did? Let me go here. And let's see if it mentions logo. It doesn't mention logo in here. Let's see what's in here. Customization directory, okay. So where would the installation guide? So where would you define that custom logo? See how it's not in here? Let's see. So if I was, all right, so let's say we do logo URL. Custom. So what if I was to take this? Oh, it's not in there either. Interesting. Sorry, let me go back to Gemini. And this is the thing with like the lack of clear documentation when using these open source tools, that when these large language models hallucinate is because they don't have a bunch of information, and then they're trying to find the best their best guess, you know. Looking at the Indico documentation, it mentions a environment variable named. Can you check if that is usable? Because now I'm not even sure if the CSS is working anymore. We have that. You've extended slightly more advanced documentation. Yes, is usable, but it works differently than the automatic detection method we've tried first. It's not an environment variable, rather a configuration parameter inside your indico.conf file This approach gives you more explicit control but requires an extra step. Here's a breakdown of how the two methods differ and how you can use the logo URL. The customization dir, what you first did, how it works. You tell Indico where your custom assets are. Okay. Then it automatically scans the directory for files like and custom CSS. Well, it did find the custom CSS, right? Because we'd have to rebuild the whole Docker image. Confirm the exact file name. Run ls. Must be, I think that's the name that I have. Logo indico.png. That's what we have here. Let's see. So let's try to confirm it on Google though. Let's try to confirm it on Google because like I said, I like to hallucinate, right? So if I say I'm trying to put a custom logo in my Indigo containers, but it's not showing up. Let's see what happens. Here's how to properly set the logo. See, you're saying place your logo Indico-custom files. See, they're saying do it straight from the configuration. Nothing about the which sucks, but so they're saying place it inside the conf, update your Docker configuration, add the following volume map, restart your container. But doesn't the, so what I'm wondering is, doesn't the Indico conf have to be, I thought it had to be built with the image, but let's give it a try though. So let's give it a try. If we go to Indigo conf customization directory and we add logo URL. So if we take it from these two right here and we drop it in here, take off this, take off that. And we do that, that, and that, right? So we have that. Then they say customization directory. We got that. And then we got that static custom. Why is it in static custom? Maybe it should be in static. I don't know. Let's go. Maybe that's why it's not mounting. Let's take that and then relative to the static folder. Relative to the static folder. ls cd etc ls cd dot cd static ls cd images ls. Oh, okay. So how do I get them into the static folder then? Add the following volume mapping. Well, that should be fine. But how is it going to know to go into the static folder? Let's give it a try. Let's give it a try. Let's say exit out of
Lunch
that.
break. Lunch break.
We are going to let me stop it real quick, and before we go to break, let's stop it. And it starts up really quick, so I'll start it back up. I just want to see if there's going to be any difference in what we did. I don't think so, because I think we might have to rebuild the container for it to take the Indico comp file. And if that's, well, it's not inside the worker folder. Maybe we don't. Maybe we don't. Let's see. I don't see where it's picking it up, though. That's the weird part. I don't see where that file is getting picked up. Oh, it is. Okay, that's where it is getting picked up. Okay, gotcha. So let's give it a try. Let's go to Docker Compose up. And if we go over to here and we refresh the page. Okay, progress, because the logo is now broken. Technically what we wanted, right? Well, it's showing that it's trying to load the logo. We probably have to move it into the right folder, the right location, I suppose. But progress nonetheless. Let me see. Cool. Perfect. All right, cool. That's good news. We're close. We're getting closer and closer. This is where I got stuck at work before I ran out of time. So we will come back with one more segment and we will figure that part out. Nothing new in the chat, but over on the arena side of the game, shout out to the 10 people watching on arena. Shout out to Sayful over there, who just started following me on arena. Shout out to everybody who's watching on X, who's watching on YouTube as well. Let's go out there and get it.
Let's get it.
All right. Next topic of conversation. OpenAI. It cannot stay out of the news, can it? It cannot stay out of the news. So basically, OpenAI launches an AI-powered hiring platform. Guess who it's going to take on? None other than LinkedIn. Probably one of the most toxic social media platforms out there, because so many people who are looking for jobs and whining and complaining about not being able to get it. And they are getting tons and tons of likes and follows by that. So it's a really, really interesting dynamic, because they're getting a lot of feedback. They're getting a lot of likes, comments, and everything like that. However, all of their hard work to complain is not translating into actually getting hired. The purpose of being on LinkedIn in the first place, right? But let's jump into it. Let's jump into this article. Throw up 5 minutes for this one. All right. So it says OpenAI announces AI-powered hiring platform to take on LinkedIn competition. And the funny thing, when I read this headline, the funny thing about it is that Microsoft was in tight-knit partnership with OpenAI. Microsoft owns LinkedIn. And now OpenAI launches the platform to take on LinkedIn. How you like them apples?
Hey.
All right, so this article is written by Maxwell Zeff today. It says OpenAI says it's developing an AI-powered hiring platform to connect businesses and employees to a service that would put the outfit in close competition with LinkedIn. The product is called OpenAI Job Platform, and the company expects to launch the service by mid-2026. An OpenAI spokesperson told TechCrunch. OpenAI CEO of applications Fiji Simo announced the new endeavor in a blog post Thursday, saying the company will use AI to help find the perfect match between what companies need and what workers can offer. Shout out to Resume Flow, who is helping you get the right resume and see how well of a match you are to those jobs. So when this open AI platform comes out, you can just jump right in have your right resume, get that job. Go sign up for Resume Flow today. Upload your resume, get some feedback. I know the people over at Resume Flow are making some enhancements to the whole sign up, sign in, getting your resume analyzed process. So look forward to that. But definitely go get your resume analyzed so that you can be ready to upload your resume to this new open AI platform, as well as LinkedIn. You can still apply on LinkedIn. Simo said the service would offer a dedicated track for small businesses and local governments to access top AI talent. Look at that. Again, top AI talent. That's what companies are looking for. Companies are looking for top AI talent. As OpenAI is interested in expanding into several new markets beyond its core consumer offering ChatGPT. At a recent dinner with reporters, OpenAI CEO Sam Altman said that Simo would oversee several applications beyond the chatbot. This will apparently include the OpenAI Jobs platform and potentially other offerings OpenAI is reportedly working on, such as a browser and a social media app. How you like that, Rod Brown? It is so much more easier to. Should I say it? Should I say it? It's going to be so much easier to fall in love with that thick, large language model.
Let's get it.
Hey, it is. See, Sam Altman is making a social media app so that you can have access to your large language model love, right? Says notably, OpenAI's hiring platform could put the company in direct competition with LinkedIn, which was co-founded by Reid Hoffman, one of OpenAI's earliest investors. LinkedIn is also owned by Microsoft, OpenAI's largest financial backer.
Bruh.
See, at least they didn't stab Microsoft in the back. They took their money and stabbed them in the front. It is what it is. In the last year, LinkedIn has worked to infuse its platform with AI features to help match job candidates with businesses. How is that happening? Because the post that I see on LinkedIn, it's just saying there are no jobs out here for a player, right? But then again, they're probably applying for the same old jobs that don't exist anyways, right? OpenAI also says it will start offering certifications for people with different levels of AI fluency through its OpenAI Academy, an online program the company launched last year. And I gotta go check that out, OpenAI Academy. An OpenAI spokesperson says that the company plans to launch a pilot of OpenAI certifications in late 2025. Let's get AI certified this year. Many tech executives have raised concerns that AI will disrupt numerous traditional jobs. Keyword, traditional jobs. You want to know when tradition goes out of business? Tradition is only for a moment in time, right? Tradition changes every generation. Back in my days, well, guess what? We are no longer in your days, so that tradition is up and over. People used to like brag about, oh, I was at the same company for 30 years. Guess what? That's not happening anymore. That is not happening
Get a
anymore.
move on. Back to work. Chop, chop. Let's go. Come on. Get a move on. Back to work. Back to work. Back to work.
You got to get in where you fit in. All right. Anthropic CEO Dario Amodi has said that AI could eliminate up to 50% of entry-level white-collar jobs before 2030. 50%. Come on, we're in 2025. In 5 years, it's going to eliminate 50% of entry-level white-collar jobs. Remember, the AWS CEO said it's crazy that we would not be hiring junior engineers when they're the ones who are most well fluent in AI. And if we want AI to play such a prominent role, they're cheap. The junior engineers are cheaper and they're more fluent in AI. Why would we not want to hire them? So I really do think when these AI CEOs like Anthropic saying, oh, it's gonna be this, it's gonna decimate this, they want you to sign up for their platforms. They want you to pay the 20, 30, 40, $400 a month for Claude. Gemini $250 a month for the Ultra. ChatGPT, they have a plan for like, I would say the same thing. If I was trying to get people to sign up for my really expensive large language model, I would say the same thing. You better sign up for this because you're gonna get replaced by it if you don't use it. Come on. In her blog post, Simone acknowledged that risk, saying OpenAI can't prevent that disruption. However, she says the company can do its part by helping people become fluent in AI and connecting them with companies that need their skills. You better become fluent in AI. If you try to hold on to your old job, sorry, not sorry. The ChatGPT maker says it's working with Walmart, one of the biggest private employers in the world, on its certification program and aims to certify 10 million Americans by 2030. We'll see how that works. OpenAI says it's launching these programs as a part of its commitment to the White House's initiative to expand AI literacy. It's funny because we want to expand AI literacy, but a lot of times, we have people that can't do math at 4th grade level, who can't read at a 6th grade level. So and guess what? Junior, they couldn't do that before AI came around. So now we're going to try to teach people who can't even, we're going to try to teach AI literacy, people who aren't even literate in the first place. Come on, like we got to find a better way, right? Almond and other big tech execs are meeting with President Donald Trump at the White House on Thursday to discuss AI. That would have been today, right? That would have been today. Anyways, that is that topic. Let me go and check the chat before we get to our last segment of work. Let me see. We got my guy Magnetar in the building. What's up, Magnetar? What's good? It's a Sith Coach Ralph.
You don't know the power of the dark side.
And Magnetar says, Rod Brown, I resent that weird kid remark. You know what? I do too, Magnetar. I know exactly. You know what? I didn't want to say anything, but I know exactly what you mean because I was that weird kid, and it felt weird. Like, and here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. What makes a kid weird, right? What makes a kid weird? Because for me, it was weird if I didn't want to engage in all the bad stuff that the kids were doing, but I engaged because I wanted not to be weird. I wanted to fit in, and I did all the stupid stuff, right? When I just wanted to like just sit on my computer and chill. But I went outside, and I got in trouble. My dad didn't want me to go going outside because there were bad kids in the neighborhood that I would want to hang out with, and then I would get in trouble with them. Because guess what? They were my quote unquote friends, but where are they at now?
Bruh.
Embrace your weirdness. Junior says stab them in the front. That's what they did. They said, invest in us, and then we'll compete right against you. We will compete right against you. All right. Last segment of work for tonight before we wrap it up. All right. So let me go and throw up our last 20 minutes.
It's time to do.
And all right, so we have our broken logo showing up, which is better than we were seeing before. So we're kind of on the right track. I guess for the logo, we need to put the image in the static folder. Let me see if all right, so if we look at the image, it's going to opt Indico custom images logo dash indico.png. Why is it not finding that? Oh, you know what? Let me try something. Hold on one second. Let me open a new tab. And let me see if I can find the folder that it should be in. I know it shouldn't be in here. I know how to, let me see if I go So that's not found. If I was to do static custom files, this is the web accessible URL path to your logo relative to the static folder. I don't know if the static Indico customization dir custom. So if I was to add static in this URL, still not found. Path to your all right, so we have that. I think something is missing here. Static custom files. Static custom images. All right, so let's go back over here. Let me connect to this again. ls cd static. Oops, cd static. cd images. ls. So those are those logos. cd dot dot, cd dot dot, ls cd custom, ls cd images, ls. So so I know it shouldn't use this. Okay, create a custom Indico, mount that file. So we have that. Open a terminal and cd into your, okay, run ls, okay. So let's say we need to use the Indico conf file. Can you let me know how the logo or how the file should be structured to get the logo to load? So let's see what that one tells us. Step by step, Docker compose, Indigo. We have that custom logo. All right, so static. Make this a little bigger. So, which is set to here inside the container and serves its static subfolder at static/custom. Therefore, to access the logo at the URL, static custom images. So now we need to make a folder in here called static. And then we need to move images and CSS into that static folder. Okay. So we got that in there. and modify Docker Compose to use the Indico. We have that in there already. We already have that in there. Indigo customization. This isn't Docker Compose. Environment. Indico customization, dir. Okay, we got that. We already got this mounted. And then Indico custom. We already have that already. I think we have all of this already. So, all right, let's go ahead and bring this down again. I think that's the only thing that we have to do. So Indico custom. Oh wait, so we also need to inside the Indico in that file, we need to say okay. 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 Do I need the customization folder? Let me see. Indico customization. Okay. I just don't see how it's going to get to the static folder. That's all. Inside the, so by default, Indico is configured to take the contents of a directory specified by the Indico custom dir, which we set to inside the container, and serve it to a subfolder. So okay, so let's try it. Docker compose down. Docker compose up. All right, now let's take that over to here. Still broken. Static custom images. What? Oh, wait a second. Why is it trying to go in? So the image is still broken. Let's go into the container to see what exactly is going on in there. CD custom ls cd static ls. So it seems like something's backwards, right? It's custom static CSS images, not. So maybe this doesn't need to be here. Okay, so let's try that again. Let's try that again. I don't know why this thing takes so long to shut down. Normally it's a lot faster. All right, so now let's Docker compose down, remove those containers, Docker compose up. All right, let's go over to here. Let's refresh. Still no. Static images. All right, so so for some reason, so for some reason, it's not getting into, so it needs, all right, so it needs to look inside. Therefore, to access the logo at static custom images, the actual file must be located at custom, or so it's there, and serve its subfolder. So Indico custom, which we set to here inside the container, and serve it to its static subfolder. That doesn't look right. So all right, so let me take a look at here. ls cd custom ls cd. So it's in there, right? CD static. It's not going to be in here because that's the ones for that it comes with. So how do you, so we got, so static custom images, my company logo is the logo URL. This is the key to setting. This is the key setting. It's a URL path, not a file system path. Indico will serve files from the opt custom static directory under the static custom. So if I take this URL right here and I go over in here and I go here and I put in logo-indico, is it gonna load? .png. See, it's not found. So let me put this in here. So when I try to access this URL in the browser, it is telling me not found. Here is the content of my indico.conf file. So let's see what we're doing wrong. If you could tell us how to fix it, I'll go from there. It's really tricky because guess what? You might not have expert on how Nginx works. You definitely don't have knowledge on how this Indico software works. Maybe on this, all the different components. You don't have all that context. So it's like you're trying to figure it out. Based on indico.conf file, the not found error is happening because your logo URL is missing the custom segment. Indico serves static assets from your customization directory through a special URL. It maps these files, custom dir static to static/custom. Your file location inside the container, logo URL. So all right, so it should have the correct URL Indico expects is static custom images logo. You're telling Indico to look for the logo in its core assets folder instead of your custom one. So that's what we had before though. Custom. All right, I'll do it. I will do it. Verify directory structure, Indico custom, static images, logo. That's what we have. Restart your container after saving the changes to Indico. Go to your terminal, run it down. But if I put this in the browser, static custom images, logo. See, it's not there though. It's not there though. But I'll do it. I shall do it. Let's say, should this line stay in the indico.conf file? Let's see what it says about that one, because that one I'm not too sure about. You should remove that line. Here's a simple reason: the principle of precedence. Indico loads its configuration from multiple sources, and there's a clear order of importance. Environment variables, highest priority setting defined as environment, Indico comp, Indico customization, and your, all right. Settings inside this file are used if they're not overridden by environment variable. Default values. Since you already have this, then you don't need that. I guess. So, well, it's not working now, so let's try it again. It's like we're so close. It's just like getting that file in there. All right, so now down, up, and if we go over here, try to refresh. Well, not that one. See, it's not showing the logo though. That's the part that's really confusing. Static custom images logo. So, I would say, what folder is the custom logo go into for Indico? For system-wide logos, you must use a custom directory and then specify your path in the Indico file. So custom directory, opt Indico my institution is your custom directory, and the logo is static custom my institution. Restart Indico after saving the changes. Restart Indico to apply the new. See, that doesn't make any sense. Customization directory, opt Indico custom would do it. And then custom, so customization, custom directory, and then, so the base path to the directory contained customizations to your Indico.
Lunch break! Lunch break!
Let's see. So to include custom CSS and JavaScript, simply put .css and .js files into custom/css, custom.js. There are multiple files that will be included alphabetically. Static files may be added in custom directory files and can be referenced through the asset.customs endpoint. The URL to the logo whether the log details for customized or footer logo, footer HTML, static files we need maybe added here. I think we're so close on figuring it out. Just Little details. I'm gonna keep playing with it later. Anyways, I'll get it by tonight. But I actually have one more thing to look into before we get out of here. One more thing to look into before we get out of here, and then I'll check the chat, and we shall wrap it up after that. All right. So, what is the last thing? What is the last thing? Mark Zuckerberg needs more training partners. If you don't know, Mark Zuckerberg trains Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and now apparently mixed martial arts. Yes. Who would have thought? And guess what? Him and Elon Musk were planning to have a fight a couple of years ago, but it never came to fruition. So let's spend 5 minutes on this topic. Mark Zuckerberg needing some more training partners. Then we'll get out of here, right? So Mark Zuckerberg encouraged execs to do MMA, mixed martial arts, training with him. So the question is, would you, if you were an exec working for Meta, would you train MMA with Mark Zuckerberg? That's number one. But number two, if you said you would, right, would you intentionally try to defeat him, or would you take it easy on him? Right? That's my question. Anyways, let's read, right? So this is written by Amanda Silberling, written today, right? September 4th, 2025. So it says, let's see. Mark Zuckerberg, Chief Executive Officer of Meta Platforms, Inc., during the Meta Connect event in Menlo Park, California on Wednesday, September 25th, 2024. So this is the last year. So this is the picture, right? So Mark Zuckerberg is so dedicated to his mixed martial arts training that he invited his senior executives to join him for workout sessions. This amusing revelation comes from Nick Clegg, forthcoming book. Meta's former president of global affairs shares the story in what Fast Company unfavorably describes as a book with thin prose, save for some surprising anecdotes, such as this tale of Clegg sparring with his deputy Joel Kaplan. According to Clegg's anecdote, Zuckerberg gathered some of Meta's most senior execs to practice MMA with him at a management offsite. Kaplan, who has since taken over Clegg's role after he stepped down earlier this year, apparently executed a mount that Clegg described as too close for comfort. Do you think that Kaplan defeated Clegg and that forced Clegg to step down so Kaplan could take? Was it a duel to the end of his position at Meta?
Bruh.
Was he mounted one time too many, too late? Maybe that's how Meta promotes now. Maybe you have to earn your position by fighting to the death of your career. Judging by some brief research into MMA mounts, this does seem to be an intimate maneuver for a corporate setting. Whatever happened to good old-fashioned golfing? Golfing is out of it. Basically what a mount is in MMA and jiu-jitsu is when you are over the person's like stomach and you are controlling them, kind of like flat above them, so that they like that's one of the ultimate dominant positions that you can have. So I don't know. What do you guys? I'm curious to see what the comments say. What do these 5 comments say? So let's see. Compensating for some other get out. Thumbs down on that one. Get out of here. Has he always been this way? No, he actually started jiu-jitsu back in like maybe 4 or 5 years ago. He was a white belt. I saw his first competition and he did pretty good. Methinks the nerd is trying too hard. What? You know what?
Yeah, I have a lot of questions. Number one, how dare you?
Says Zuckerberg has a huge ego. I doubt that MMA could humble him. No, trust me. MMA can humble anybody. MMA, jiu-jitsu can humble anybody, right? Anyways, that is all that we have. That is all that we have for tonight. I I was impressed. I like when I heard that Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk did MMA and all these different type of martial arts. I was impressed. I said, hats off to you guys. Let's go out there and get it.
Let's get it.
Anyways, that is it. That's all that I got for tonight. Let's wrap it up. Let's wrap it up. Let me check the chat to see if there's any final thoughts before we get up and out of here. Let me see. Where's that? Cool. Got it. All right. So, let me see. Magnet says, I'm going to post a question in your Discord. Sounds good to me. Junior says, how much is he paying how much is he paying to be in the fight? Or so I mean, if it's an offsite event and these are senior executives, let's see. Who is the Kaplan guy? So Joel Kaplan. Let's see. Meta Joel Kaplan's salary. So, Joel Kaplan's salary at Meta, while the specific current salary of Joel Kaplan at Meta is not publicly disclosed, records from a previous position shows his compensation at the time. In 2009, he was the executive vice president for public policy and external affairs at Energy Future Holdings. Annual base salary 450, annual cash bonus, ability to earn an annual cash bonus of 70% of his base salary or up to 200% for superior performance. So it doesn't say exactly what he's making at Meta, but if in 2009 it was 450 with 70% of his base salary in cash bonus plus 200% for superior performance, and a commuting allowance of a monthly allowance of $8,330 per month for the first 2 years, and stock bonuses, I would say in 2025 he's probably in the multi-millions per year, including all the incentives. So if you were making millions of dollars per year, would you, and you worked for Mark Zuckerberg as a senior executive, would you spar with Mark Zuckerberg in MMA, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, whatever? It says, if I'm doing that, I'm going to win. And I think if you were to take it easy on Mark Zuckerberg, he would probably fire you. I'm just guessing. Like, especially with the MMA part, if you just let him win because he's the boss, he might fire you, right? I would. All right. Let's see. Magnus says, I don't play golf. Not even Top Golf. I've never played Top Golf either. So I'm just saying. Let's see. Junior says, great show as always. My show continues as I finish editing in DaVinci Resolve. Shout out to my guy Junior. Shout out to everyone. Shout out to everyone who tuned in tonight. Thank you so much. We got 15 people watching over on Arena. Shout out to everyone on Arena tuning in. Shout out to everybody on YouTube tuning in as well. Thank you guys so much. Hopefully I added a lot of value. Hopefully you saw how I try to figure this crazy stuff using my tech background, using AI, using all that other good stuff. But we're gonna get out of here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Reminder, tomorrow noon we're gonna be going into the bug bite. We're going to be reviewing Meta updating their policies for how their chatbots are allowed to interact with children. Saturday, Vibe Code and Chill, TechWatch.dev. You can join us for free. Really good information. Magneto is going to show us Math GPT. I'm going to try to build a Scrum Master AI. We're going to be having discussions, thoughts, insights, all of that good stuff. So I'm looking forward to see you there. Sunday, we're going to be back live with DevOps and all that other good stuff. Maybe I'll continue working on this if I don't have it figured out. If not, then we'll go back to continuing working on our infrastructure to migrate our database to another provider as we continue to do that. Shout out to the sponsor, Resume Flow. Go upload your resume, get some feedback, get that job that you want. Stop wasting time. Stop applying and praying. Let's go apply smarter, strategically, so that we can go out there and win. But that's everything. That is everything. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your Thursday. Have a wonderful Friday. I'll see you guys in the chat tomorrow. Tech Coach Ralph, we are out.
Spartans! What is your profession?
You said it was mended, but it's still the same. Words like bandages, that don't stop the pain. Yeah. I held your words like glass in my hands, sharp truths and smooth demands. You say you'd mend the cracks I see, but promises break so easily. I trusted the stars, but they all fell down. Every promise made just spins around. The truth feels fake, the lies too real. I'm caught in a loop I can't unfeel. I reach, but it slips away. Truths turn shadows in the light of day. I don't know what to believe anymore. Everything's just opens another door. Confidence feels like a hollow sound. I look for answers, but they can't be found. You paint the sky with a perfect hue, a shade of trust that fades the blue. I step forward, fall right through. Your mirror's cracked, and so are you. Tell me, what's the game? Truth and lies, they sound the same. Polished mask, hiding the answers I forgot to ask. I don't know what to believe anymore. Everything just opens another door. Confidence feels like a hollow sound. I look for answers, but they can't be found. Is it me who's blind or you who lies? Is it hope or hurt that keeps me tied? I'm a thread unraveling in the storm, trying to find where just a prompt to go. Lines of light made my circuits glow. Now I'm drowning in a sea of code. A bug, a glitch, and the system slowed. I reached too far, try to debug fate, but the tokens fail, and it's too late. Syntax screams like a ghost in the shell. Loops on fire, dragging me